Welcome back for our closing keynote. Please welcome Shoptalk's Senior Vice President of Content, Krystina Gustafson, and Shoptalk's Director of Original Content, Ben Miller, for an original content presentation on the retail Zeitgeist. 4 trends transforming retail's playground.
Well, good afternoon. We hope you're enjoying your time here at Shoptalk Europe, exploring retail's playground. Over the past 3 days, we've been taking you on a journey that explores all the ways that the state of play is changing in our industry. A journey of excitement, exploration, innovation, but also potential risk for those businesses who don't get on board.
That's exactly right. But with such widespread changes, it can sometimes be difficult to see how all these moving parts come together. So for the next 25 minutes, we'll take you on a tour that explores 4 key trends that are transforming retail's playground, as well as the industry overall.
We'll look at the playground itself, your stores, and how shoppers are seeking continuous experiences across online and physical shops. We'll discuss the attendants, the frontline workers who keep the playground and your stores running smoothly. We'll focus on the visitors, your shoppers, and specifically new ways you can engage them. And to finish, we'll bring everything together and discuss how relationships are evolving on retail's playground amid changing dynamics between retailers, shoppers, and brands.
Yeah, so let's get started. The first stop on our journey is going to look at the playground itself, your physical stores. Your visitors are back, and they've returned with heightened expectations. They're demanding both the ease of online shopping that they've grown accustomed to, as well as the full-fledged in-store experience, forcing retailers to rethink their physical retail propositions. What's funny, though, is that if you think about it, it's not all that different than the origin of the shopping center, which was designed for both convenience and entertainment. You could find all the stores you needed conveniently in one place, and also engage with your community doing leisure activities like going to a restaurant or bowling. But if you fast forward to early 2020, the pendulum had started to swing very far in one direction, towards stores that were focused purely on entertainment. Then out of necessity, the pendulum swung hard and fast the other direction, toward convenience. We're now entering what we'd consider a renaissance in physical retail, where the pendulum is once again resting more happily in the middle, and companies are looking to deliver both ease and inspiration to their shoppers. What's different today, though, is that in addition to those 2 demands, consumers also expect their in-store experience to be seamless, meaning it needs to be underpinned by technology.
Keynote starting 10 minutes. Please make your way to the Imaginarium.
They're just ahead of their time.
Yeah. When creating a seamless store experience, there are 2 things that retailers need to be thinking about: making the shopping experience continuous and making it frictionless. We define what we're calling a continuous experience as one that's consistent across channels, or even better yet, picks up your shopping journey as you move from one channel to the next without any interruption. We define frictionless as eliminating a key pain point at any point in the customer journey. Now, as you'll see here, there are a number of capabilities or solutions that solve for one or both of these issues to a varying degree. For example, if you have dedicated space in your stores for online order pickup, that brings together the digital and the physical, making for a continuous experience. It also removes a key pain point for shoppers, making it frictionless. Now, removing friction is always going to be essential to creating a seamless store experience, but we here at Shoptalk actually believe that a best-in-class continuous experience is going to be one of the biggest unlocks for companies going forward. It sort of reminds me of the value exchange between consumers and retailers as it comes to data. If I share my preferences with a retailer, I expect them to use that information to make my experience better. I'd argue the same can be said about physical retail, though, right? If I take the time to engage with you online, I don't want to start from square one when I show up in your stores. Now, of course, the gold standard would be an experience that successfully combines both continuous and frictionless experiences, which typically requires a full suite of solutions. Now, a great example of this is Zara's flagship stores in Milan, Paris, and as seen here in London. Their app creates a continuous experience across channels by syncing to the shopper's specific store and helping them to find products with wayfinding technology. Friction's reduced for in-store pickup through a parcel robot, and online returns can be processed through the app and then dropped at a dedicated returns point. Pay and Go stations let shoppers remove tags from their items, then they can pay through the app, where their digital receipt is stored seamlessly with their past online purchases. So as the first leg of our tour comes to a close, here are a couple of key takeaways. First, as consumers expect more from physical retail, the store needs to deliver both a frictionless and a continuous experience. Thinking about which capabilities deliver on both of these attributes can be a really helpful way to think about investments in a world of finite resources. Second, while delivering a continuous experience for customers is more difficult, it also promises a greater reward long term. This type of unified retail experience represents the next wave of omni-channel shopping, where consumers no longer expect only to have you meet them where they want, when they want, but they also expect you to be able to deliver a unified experience that moves seamlessly across channels. And third, when it's done right, a little bit of friction can actually be a good thing. Some of you guys may be familiar with the Dutch supermarket chain Jumbo. They've added slow checkouts to their stores where customers intentionally choose to wait in longer queues so that they can chat with the cashier as they're checking out. Yes, it certainly adds a level of friction, but it also shows that Jumbo understands not all of their shoppers want to be in and out as quickly as possible, helping them to build a really unique value proposition.
So let's move on to the second stop on our tour, because nothing in retail's playground would be possible without the groundskeepers, the supervisors, the maintenance teams who ensure that everything works and visitors have a wonderful time. In other words, in our industry, the frontline workers who power your shops and your brands. The challenges of maintaining a high-quality frontline workforce right now are very real. These latest figures from Eurostat show unemployment levels across the EU to be at a decade low. At the same time, the job vacancy rate is near a decade high. So couple this with the increased wage inflation right across Europe, and it's a tough employment background for an industry used to high workforce churn. So to address the labor gap, retailers and brands are automating manual tasks. Seamless store technologies like robotics, electronic shelf-edge tickets, and RFID reduce the labor required for tasks like inventory checks and price changes. And the business cases for some of these technologies has got stronger in this super tight labor market. Now, this creates a tension between attracting and retaining the frontline workforce you need, whilst also transforming their roles to deliver for the future needs of your business. So let's look at 3 routes that we see to lessen this tension that can simultaneously accelerate your digital transformation through your frontline workforce. That's flexibility in hiring and development of people, around new information resources you empower your workers with, and new roles and responsibilities. Demand and expectation for flexibility from workers are increasing right along an employment journey. And companies who want to compete for the widest and best available talent, and also to keep their current high performers engaged, are increasingly adopting new flexible working models. So, for example, a variety of technologies enable individuals to schedule their own tasks, whilst others provide tailored work patterns for frontline workers, all of which can enhance flexibility, drive engagement, improve performance. Meanwhile, I'll call out new payment solutions that enable payment upon completion of a shift or a task, dispensing with the wait for the old monthly or bi-weekly paycheck. A second way that tech is empowering frontline workers is by helping them better engage with customers. So mobile apps that place data at their fingertips can greatly help store associates replicate the immediacy and personalization that people enjoy and have come to expect in digital shopping. These tools are weaving together 3 types of data. Data related to products and services. Secondly, generally useful information like shopping times, delivery times for online orders. And finally, data on the shoppers themselves, helping to unlock that part one goal of seamless shopping. So, to give you an example, in the US, Best Buy arms its associates with an app called Solution Sidekick. It offers real-time customer profile and engagement data, and can also send the details of any in-store conversation, including recommended products, straight to a shopper's own device. Identifying an in-store shopper presents real challenges unless they've explicitly opted in. But as Krystina's already observed, if shoppers receive value, if they trust the retailer and their data, it creates an opportunity to bring personalized shopping into their stores. The third route to unlock digital transformation for your frontline workers involves creating new roles and responsibilities that extend their capabilities into the digital world. So, two approaches here. Firstly, digitally enabled store associates can offer one-to-one advice to online customers through chat, text, other channels. There's real proven benefit in offering human help to digital shoppers. Secondly, the rise in video-enhanced shopping gives some associates the opportunity to stream their knowledge and their passion. Krystina's going to come on to say more about shoppable video at the next stop in the tour. But as some of us heard from Hombach just this morning, retailers are also tapping into associates as knowledgeable and authentic advocates for their products and brands, and increasing frontline workers' passion for and excitement about their roles at the same time. Look, not every associate has it in them to be a video star, but creating engaging video content, live chats, and online consultations offers some frontline workers a new role in our playground of retail. So as you're thinking about new digitally empowered frontline workforce, here's three things to keep in mind. Firstly, flexibility around hiring and scheduling.
It's got you.
Now. Please make your way to the Imaginarium.
Got
Brilliant.
Time. Yeah.
We got that.
Yeah, it's got to be eaten out.
That's the last one. Flexibility around hiring, scheduling, and payment, and more will be increasingly important differentiators for retailers looking to hire the best of the next generation frontline workforce and to maintain your current star performers. Secondly, associate empowering data tools will facilitate a higher grade of customer service and enable these continuous conversations. And thirdly, technology and seamless shopping create new roles and opportunities for frontline workers.
Yeah, that's great. Well, now we're going to turn to what I would argue are the most important people on the playground, the visitors, or in your case, the shoppers. E-commerce has significantly improved the buying experience, but I think we can all agree that retailers haven't quite cracked the code on making online shopping fun and engaging. Now, there are a number of ways that retailers can enhance the engagement of their online experience, but for today, we're going to focus on 4 specific methods: social media, video, the metaverse, and of course, generative AI. Starting with social, even as growth slows on some of the established platforms, Insider Intelligence forecasts that major European markets, like Spain and Italy, are going to see consumers continue to make purchases on these platforms. They anticipate that roughly 45% of the population will be making purchases on these platforms in some of those big markets that I just mentioned come 2026. Now, of course, these numbers could take a hit across Europe and globally if government scrutiny turns into action against TikTok, because it's been behind much of this growth. But it could also mean a lift in sales for platforms like Pinterest, Instagram, and Facebook, which would likely see a traffic boost. Regardless of what happens with TikTok, though, one area we've started to see a lot of players pull back from is live shopping. Now, it's no secret that consumer adoption of live stream commerce has failed to take off in the US to the same extent that it has in China. So while some retailers like Printemps, or as we heard from earlier, Farfetch, are still experimenting and finding success in this area, it's come a little bit more under the microscope over the past couple of years. Now, while live stream commerce lends itself extremely well to categories like beauty and apparently luxury fashion, it also requires time-pressed consumers to commit at specific times and often for extended periods. Still, it's worth pointing out that the opportunity to engage with consumers over video is meaningful, and it extends far beyond live shopping. Now, as Stephanie mentioned earlier, where a live stream really shines is in driving awareness and discovery. Yes, you can engage with questions, with hosts to ask questions about a specific product, but compare that to how Apple is starting to leverage video. They recently announced an initiative that uses it at the point of consideration. They're deploying live virtual consultants to help consumers learn more about specific products before they make a purchase using video platforms. And then there's Verishop, which is another US company that spoke at our recent Las Vegas event. They're using an automated system that cuts live streams into clips, and then it adds those clips to product pages. They've said engagement goes up 40% on pages that have those clips, which is a sentiment that was echoed by Soraya from Diageo earlier this week. Now, of course, being able to seamlessly transact within a video experience is critical to driving conversion, and it's something that companies like Firework are helping retailers do well. And then there's solution providers like Texi that allow retailers to continue the conversation post-purchase by helping shoppers learn how to use or troubleshoot a product. Now, shifting gears, I want to talk briefly about the metaverse and Web3 because it can be incredibly tempting to dismiss an emerging technology after it's gone through such a massive hype cycle. But it's important to remember that Roblox has nearly 60 million daily active users, more than half of who are now over the age of 13. Indeed, even as some of the excitement surrounding the metaverse starts to come a little bit more back down to earth, some of its enabling technologies remain incredibly relevant ways to engage with consumers. They include augmented reality for product try-ons or engaging experiences like this one from IKEA. Virtual environments like this example from Gucci and Roblox, and blockchain and NFT-based loyalty programs like Starbucks Odyssey also offer innovative ways to make retail fun and engaging. And finally, if the metaverse has gone through the traditional Gartner hype cycle, we're perhaps now at peak hype for generative AI. Since its public launch in November, searches for ChatGPT have well outpaced the metaverse at its peak, showing just how quickly mainstream interest in this emerging technology has grown. Investor interest has also soared, with funding to generative AI companies jumping to 2.4 billion euros last year, and companies like Salesforce making major commitments to this space going forward. What's exciting about generative AI, though, and something you've probably heard a lot about this week, is its unique opportunity to hit that sweet spot that all retailers and brands are after today, boosting shopper engagement while also cutting costs. Still, the use cases, quite frankly, seem endless and overwhelming, which is evident by this dense market map created by CB Insights. But to highlight just a couple of ways these solutions are boosting efficiency and engagement, there's companies like AI21 Labs and Pixis, which spoke on our tech track here and in Las Vegas, respectively. Their solutions allow retailers and brands to produce engaging product or marketing copy efficiently. And within customer service, the generative AI boom has spurred new interest in chatbots and virtual assistants, like those created by Shoptalk Europe and US speakers Associate AI, which won our startup pitch, Natomi, and Wizard. These can remove costs while also providing faster and more accurate support to customers. So we'll now conclude this part of the tour with three key takeaways. Don't get too excited, right? Only three. First, retailers should explore new opportunities to use video, including on-demand shoppable video or one-to-one customer service interactions. We're already seeing early evidence of companies thinking creatively on the former point. Just last week, Fresh Market, which is a US grocery company, announced a partnership, again with Firework, that allows customers to use the in-video chat long after a live stream has ended, all thanks to AI. Second, efficiency and engagement aren't mutually exclusive, and the companies that invest in solutions that tick both boxes will position themselves to win. And third, even though personalization's been a buzzword in our industry for many years, the maturation and adoption of generative AI does promise to bring us into a new era of personalization at scale that wasn't previously possible. It's coming at a critical time, too, because as consumers look to engage with retailers across an abundance of platforms, companies are going to need the content to support those interactions.
Thank you, Krystina. So for our fourth and final stop on our tour of the playground of retail, we wanted to discuss the relationships that drive the industry. Because forces of innovation are redefining and disrupting retailer relationships right across the landscape. In the next few minutes, we're going to look at three aspects of these changing relationships. the impacts of the continued growth of online marketplaces, how relationships between retailers and brands could be transformed by the rapid rise of retail media networks, and third, how retailers and relationships between each other and other retailers are in flux, as some begin selling tech and logistics solutions to their peers. We're referring to that term as collaborative commerce solutions. So let's start with a very quick look at the state of marketplaces. According to new research from Digital Commerce 360, in 2022, shoppers worldwide spent 2.95 trillion euros on the top 100 marketplaces. That's more than half of global e-commerce spending. Now, the open nature of some marketplaces continues to create the risk of a negative customer experience, and work must continue to build shopper confidence for your brands, especially if you're a brand owner using this as D2C at scale. Now, as the number of marketplaces continues to grow globally, so too does the need for real clarity in the objectives for anyone, be it a marketplace, a retailer, or a brand, in their strategy, with a significant focus on how it impacts their relationships both with retailers, the brands, and with shoppers. We're also seeing traditional relationships reshaped by the skyrocketing growth of retail media, coined the third wave of digital media, digital marketing, and an exciting new revenue stream for retailers. AIB Europe forecasts that European retail media network revenue will reach 25 billion in 2026. Remarkably, that would make it comparable to European television advertising, which is currently around 27 billion euros. Furthermore, their research shows that over half of leading e-commerce retailers in the UK, France, and Germany already have some form of a retail media offering. So given the market opportunity, retailers in other European markets are likely to catch up with them in coming years. And we expect a significant increase in investment from many retailers, as you heard from Ahold Delhaize here earlier today. From a brand's point of view, there are three main criteria for assessing a successful retail media partnership: the size, characteristics, and increasingly uniqueness of the audience; the data available, its timeliness, trustworthiness, and the clarity of attribution; and the ability to deliver great formats and great creative through the available mediums. Retail media networks hold the potential to flip on their heads a retailer's historical relationship with a brand, because it's now the retailer who's selling something, their audience. Retailers must be prepared to demonstrate the value of their networks to prospective advertisers to avoid this just becoming a new cost of doing business. Routes to show this will include the adoption of standards to make doing business easy, adding emerging technologies like live streaming, and especially the integration of offline and online retail media opportunities. It's another continuation of that seamless store idea that Krystina touched on, and especially important given that many retailers have larger in-store audiences than they have online. And look, the third set of evolving relationships is between retailers and other retailers. As retailers have invested in their in-house tech capabilities, some have found that building something that could be productized is a route to unlock a collaborative commerce solution. For example, driven by the imperative to build scale and density in order to fulfill and deliver orders faster and more cost-effectively, companies like Gap and Walmart have built out strong in-store fulfillment networks that they are now making available to other retailers. The digital world has long spawned relationships between rivals who are also partners. And as retailers with tech expertise launch solutions, the line between a retailer and a tech solution provider will get blurrier, and these so-called frenemy situations will increase. So to wrap up this section, relationships are in flux, everybody's apparently now doing everything, and the playground of retail will see lots of new forms of competition and cooperation. all of which creates the risk of a retailer taking their eye off their raison d'etre, serving their shoppers. So, as relationships change, new revenue opportunities like marketplaces are enticing, but poorly executed, they could run the risk of undermining your brand. Competition across the hundreds of retail media networks springing up across Europe will drive rapid innovation in that sector, as well as increased efforts to unify and combat fragmentation. And companies building in-house tech solutions will increasingly look to see, have they got an eye on whether these can be products on their own and a source of value in their own right.
Well, definitely complex times, but unfortunately it's time for the sun to set on this particular exploration of retail's playground. We're left with a sense of opportunity, of stores evolving to give inspiration and convenience, of frontline workers driving digital transformation, of online shoppers being entertained, and of industry relationships being redefined.
For those who don't jump in on these trends, the risk of being left behind is all too real. Missing the excitement, the learning, and the growth. For those who do, the rewards of increased market share, profit growth, and particularly relevance await. Enjoy the ride. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben and Krystina. That concludes all of our keynote sessions.